small video that needs to get played out. Once that gets played out, I'll get started.
I can't even imagine what the suicide and homicide and just the rates of depression in an accidental death due to overdose are going to look like in the future. It's going to reach epidemic proportions. It's already, the statistics are already alarming, and yet nobody's sounding any alarm bells.
Digital dementia. This is a real medical term right now. This is the idea that we're outsourcing our brains to our smart devices. We're so reliant on our smartphones that our smartphones are making us stupid. Does that make sense? I mean, it's convenient. I don't want to memorize 500 phone numbers, right? Nobody wants to do that. But we've lost the ability to memorize one. Like, I give you a 7-digit number now. How difficult? Would you find that kind of difficult to memorize, like a phone number that you used to do years ago? Yes or yes? Because if I take my arm and I put it into a sling for 6 months, does it stay the same? Would it even grow stronger? It would what? It would atrophy and grow weaker. Same thing with your mental muscles. If you're relying on your phone to keep your schedules, your to-dos, do simple. I went out to dinner with 10 people recently. There was 10 of us. And 3 people at the end pulled out their phones to divide the bill by 10. We've lost the ability to be able to do certain things, and so that's where digital dementia is. Smart devices could be extremely convenient, but they can be crippling also. So it can be balanced.
Can I borrow someone's phone, please? Anyone? Thank you. Okay, there is a subconscious reaction to these devices when we use them. Okay? What if I were to hold my phone while I'm talking to you? I'm not checking it, it's not buzzing, it's not beeping. I'm not even nothing. I'm just holding it. Do you feel at this moment that you are the most important thing to me right now? No, you do not. Because there is a subconscious reaction we have to the device. When it is out, it makes the people around us feel that they are less important. So when we're walking down the halls in our offices and somebody says, hey boss, can I ask you a question? You go, sure, what's on your mind? We've just told them they're not that important. Or we can go, sure, what's on your mind? And if you don't have a pocket, find a shelf, put it on the shelf, come back and say, sure, what's on your mind? When we show up to a meeting, or a lunch, or a dinner, with our colleagues, our clients, or our friends, or our families, and we put the phone on the table, we have announced to everyone in the room that they are not that important to us. And by the way, putting the phone upside down is not more polite. My favorite one is with a meeting or at a lunch with someone that the phone will ring and the caller ID will pop up and they will go, I'm not going to get it. Oh, so magnanimous. Oh, we're lucky to eat with you today. Or they could just put the damn thing away. You can tell how addicted we are. When somebody pulls out their phone when you're with them, how uncomfortable does that make us feel? You're walking down the street with someone, they pull their phone out. We feel stupid, so what do? We pull our phones out. We're so addicted. Somebody goes to the bathroom when we're at dinner, and when we have to sit there by ourselves, God forbid we should look around the room for 5 minutes. We pull our phones out. Meetings. Awful. What do we do when a meeting happens, right? Everybody's sitting waiting for the meeting to start. Bob's running a few minutes late. Bob's here? Okay, start the meeting. Do you know when relationships are built? All in between time. Thank you very much. Parents have to intervene. We have to stop giving our kids free access to social media and phones at young ages. They are not ready for it. Their minds cannot cope with the dopamine. Balance is fine. You can give a kid a phone, but they can't use it in their bedroom. They can't have it at the dinner table. They can't take it to school. They can only have it up to a certain hour and take it away. They're children. You can take the phone away. We've got to intervene as parents. But as companies, we now have to deal with the influx of kids that are coming into our companies with addiction. Watch, I see it all the time. Walk through any office. You'll see the older employees have their phones on the sides of their computers as they're working. You'll see the youngest employees have their phones face up in front of their keyboard between their arms as they're working. And this is how they work. And the science is alarming. They did the experiments on mice where they did the multitasking. They changed it with flashing lights to mimic going from the computer to the cell phone, computer to the cell phone to the TV. The mice that were exposed to the changing lights, It took them 3 times longer to solve a maze than devices that weren't, and the damage was permanent. It didn't improve when they stopped the lights.
All right. Now, there was the reason why I played that video in the start of this session, because a lot of you guys are on your phones. And it's scary. Now, I've actually listened to a couple of talks since the morning, and it's actually scary, and I was thinking as I was listening to these talks that I should actually go to Himalayas, because there's no network there, there's no technology there, and live life there, because that's the peaceful place to be. Everywhere else, it's just scary as such. Now, I'm going to try and do this session in a slightly different format. I'll ask you, all you guys, to close your eyes for a couple of minutes. I'm going to tell you what is to be done in those 2 minutes as such, but right now, just be comfortable. Close your eyes. Absolutely be comfortable. Close your eyes. Don't open your eyes. Don't worry, nothing is going to happen to you. Just close your eyes and take a deep breath in and breathe out. Just be aware of your breath. Take a deep breath in and breathe out. Do this for 3 more times. Deep breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out. Keep your eyes closed and keep your breath at normal levels. And just recall the first session that happened today morning. The first session that you attended, just think of that session. And in the same order as these sessions happened, just recall all of them in your head. Which one excited you the most? Which one scared you the most? Just think. Did you enjoy the tea? Did you enjoy the lunch? Was there anything interesting in the lunch? Just take your attention there. Slowly come back to the place where you're seated. And just be aware of the chair that you're seated on. Be aware of the air conditioning in the room. And take again a deep breath in and breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. Take a long, deep breath in and breathe out and open your eyes. All right. Now let me ask you this. How many of us think that in the last 10 years, a lot of change has happened? Just raise your hands, those who think that the last 10 years, a lot of change has happened. All right. How many of us think that the previous 40 years, the change that happened before the last 10 years, the last 10-year change is greater than the previous 40 years? How many of us think that is true as well? All right. How many of us think that we have changed in the last 10 years? All right. Now, how many of us think that we have changed at the same pace as the world has changed? There it is. There is the answer in the class itself. The world has changed dramatically in the last 10 years. We have attempted to change, but the catching up game is not just working out at all. In our school, in geography, we were told that the world is a round thing. My daughter still goes to school and she has this globe that she sees and she says, world is here. The time changes here and the time changes here and all that. But the reality is the world is not round anymore. Geographically, it still may be right. I've never checked it myself. But practically speaking, it is not right anymore. The world is actually flat. And if you can think about it, the world is flat. There was a time when a movie used to get released in the US. By the time it will come to India, it will be 6 months. Today, what happens? The movie is released first in India, because half the movies are watched here first. And that's when it goes to the US. There was a time that some technology will come there and it will come to us about 5 years later. We had Surf Excel. I don't know if you guys have seen Surf Excel. But Surf Excel used to be blue color for us 20 years ago. Powder. The white color one was sold in the US. The blue color one was sold in India. Now the white color and the blue color both get sold here first. The world is actually flat. I was asking my daughter a few weeks back after she finished her 10th standard as to what is her plans of further studies. My question was with the intention of asking which city she wants to go. She said which country she wants to go. Now, I was thinking from Chennai to Bangalore to Calcutta to Delhi to Mumbai, and she said Singapore, London, and US. Now, that's the response that you get, and that tells you that the world is actually flat, and a lot of our paradigms that we have bought with are actually dead and out. That's what I'm going to talk about here today, and I don't know if I can use this. Is there PPT available here on the screen? Can I scroll down here? Where do I get it here? I'm not a big technology guy, so I don't, I'm a... No, but this is not a PPT, this is a PDF. It will still work, okay. All right, let's see if this works. All right, perfect. Now, there are 10 fundamental things that I'm going to talk about, and then I'm going to leave it for questions from you guys. And these are 10 fundamental things that are changing the world. How many of you have read this book called The World is Flat? There's a book written by Thomas Friedman called The World is Flat, and he wrote this book about 15, 20 years ago, not thinking as to what will happen to the world, but that's exactly what has happened to the world, and that book explains this concept beautifully well. I'm going to explain this using some examples here. So think about these companies now. I'm sure you guys, how many of you can live without Google? Let me ask that simple question. How many of you can live without Google? Just for 4 hours without Google. 4 hours without Google? All right, 4 hours. A day without Google? Oh, there are still some people who are thinking that they... You guys take Ola and Uber ride or not? Oh, so you take a Rick still in the old-fashioned way. But if you can think about it, we cannot live without these companies. Google is... You can live without water and food for a day. You can do your Ramzan, Roza, and you can do your Upwas or whatever you want to call it. But you can't live without Google. These companies are different. We are living in a world which is one world, one market. Gone are the days where you had what is called as the geographical dimension of business. That I'll do work in Hyderabad, I'll do work in old Hyderabad, Shamsabad, different areas that you have. Gone are the days completely. It's a world which is one world, and these 3 companies are a classic example of this. And these 3 companies are 3 different companies, Google, Facebook, Dell. How many people does Facebook have on its platform? How many people are connected to Facebook? Yeah, so if Facebook was a country, it will be the 2nd biggest country. And if Facebook was a country, it will have more number of languages than India has. Imagine the complication in life. We already have so much complication in India with the languages that we have. But these are companies. In the olden days, we had a concept where, there were companies which used to do few things or a lot of things for a few people. What is the Tata Group known for? Yeah, it was a salt to steel company. That was they used to say, salt to space or salt to steel. It did everything in the world possible. You don't even know what Tata does. And that was the way business was done. In the olden days in North India, we used a word called Tata Birla Jaisa Banna. Tata and Birla were known for. Birla is also one of those companies which was into everything, into food, into cement, into steel, you can imagine what they were into. But that day is on and over. It's about this. The world is changing. The world is no more about do a few things for a lot of people. The world is no more about do a lot of things for a few people, but the world is do a few things for the entire world. Do it on a scale. And it's a different paradigm altogether. They do it on a scale. When iPhone launches, it sells a few billion phones in a week. You don't even know that many billion phones have been sold. That Redmi Note, I don't know whether you guys have heard, they sold 10 million phones in India in a week. That speed was never even unthinkable in our mindset. We always thought granular thinking, incremental thinking. These guys are different altogether. And these 3 companies are a classic example of one world, one market. Just change your mindset. It's no more anymore this regional mindset. It's the so-called global mindset. Look at the second one here. And this is another example. Global sourcing. Walmart, how many of you visited a Walmart store? And how many of you know that IKEA store is opening on July 19th here?
No, it is August 9th.
Shifted to August.
Oh, it just moved to August. The poster still said July 19th. So and I saw that poster only today morning, so that's the reason why I'm giving that example. These are companies which source from everywhere in the world. Gone are the days where you'll source locally everything. Walmart, half the stuff that sells in Walmart is made in China. Some of it is made in India and Bangladesh. The rest of it is made in America, and the made in America stuff does not sell because it's expensive. Simple logic. General Electric, it's a classic example of a company which brought the IT revolution to India. There was a company called Jekis. I'm sure you guys have heard about it. They had an office in Hyderabad as well. It was the first company to bring call centers to India. And by the way, GE was known as a business conglomerate. A couple of weeks back, they were thrown out of the Dow Jones Index. It is a company which used to be the benchmark for management. If you guys have ever read management books, they will all be on GE. Jack Welch was known as the management guru. Even in school and colleges today, Jack Welch ka kitab bolte hain, padho. Jack Welch himself is outdated. GE is out of the what is called as the Dow Jones Index itself. Although they were the first company to start what is called as global sourcing. The third company, Apple. I'm sure, how many of you have an Apple phone here? Can you just take that phone out? Yeah, just look at the back side. What does it say written there? No, read it fully. Now, designed in California, assembled in China. Dimag mera bana tu. It is made in America? No, it is made somewhere in the world. And by the way, the cable of that comes from Finland, the packaging comes from Singapore, the paper comes from somewhere else. God knows where that phone is actually made. You cannot even locate the location of the place of birth of that phone. And that's how that phone is. Which means, gone are the days you'll do everything by yourself. It's no more the business model. In the traditional businesses, we used to still keep everything under. Finance was under us. Administration was under us. I've just recently set up an office in Mumbai. I don't have a finance team. It's outsourced. I don't have a coffee team. It's outsourced. I don't have a logistics team. It's outsourced. Everything is outsourced. The only thing is not outsourced is me. I'm married all the way. So I'm anyways outsourced. Now, gone are the days. These companies were deciding to focus on something that they decided to focus on. And they left everything else to somebody else. It's a different way of thinking. Do you think these companies are popping up overnight and making $1 billion sales from nowhere? How many cars does Uber have on its platform? Just think. In India, how many cars does Uber have on its platform? Give me a number. On its platform. They don't own any car, that I know. But how many cars are connected on their platform? Sorry? A million cars. 10 lakh cars are on their platform. 10 lakh. And by the way, there was a company called Meru, which was the original company in the taxi business. They, after 10 years of existence, had 4,000 cars. After 10 years of existence. And just for your information, Uber is not even 5 years old. It's less than 5 years old. How do they bring all of this? There's a different mindset. If we keep operating in the same old mindset, you will never be able to get it across. The world has changed. Look at these companies here. IBM, what was the full form of IBM? International Business. It was a hardware company. It does not do any more hardware anywhere. IBM is no more a hardware company. It's a cloud computing company, solutions company, server company and all that. They don't. There was a laptop that we had in the olden days. I don't know if you guys have ever used that. That red color trackball laptop. IBM ThinkPad or something like that. ThinkPad, correct? Yeah, it was pretty heavy. You can throw it on somebody's head and he will never get back again. And that was IBM. It's a 150-year-old company. 150 years. But they've transformed in every leg of the journey. They are now a solutions company. They sold off their hardware business to a company called Lenovo. I'm sure you guys have heard about them as well. Look at the second company. How many of you know this company, Accenture? I'm sure in Hyderabad they have an office. What was it originally? It was an auditing company. Andersen Consulting was the original name of this company. Andersen Consulting was indicted in one of the scams in the US. The regulator filed a huge penalty on them. It was like the Satyam version of the US. And they just went bankrupt. Bankrupt meaning they were not allowed to do the business. They transformed themselves to Accenture, and Accenture is one of the biggest employers in India. I'm sure you guys know them. Look at the third name. What is the full form of ICICI? Industrial Credit and Infrastructure Corporation of India Limited. That somehow that's the definition of ICICI. They do everything but industrial credit now. No industrial credit anymore. ICICI is now a household name for home loan, car loan, personal loan, credit card. They do nothing on industrial lending anymore. And half the money Maल्या took from them. So the poor guy is anyway saying, Baba, nahi karne ka hai, mere ko chhod de. Look at these guys. They all did something interesting. There was a guy called K.V. Kamath. I'm sure you guys know him. The guy who was the founding brain of ICICI. This guy about 15 years ago predicted that ICICI will have 1,000 ATMs in a year. 1,000 ATMs in a year ICICI will have. People laughed at him. People said, are you crazy? ATM ka karenge kya? What will we do with ATMs? People laughed at him. ICICI alone has 10,000 ATMs now. He predicted, he adapted, and he's a leader now. At the same time when ICICI was there was another bank called IDBI. I'm sure you guys know them. What was their full form? Industrial Development Bank of India. That also was a similar company, and IDBI, you know where they are. LIC is going to save them apparently. And ICICI is a household name now. They all did something interesting, which was perform a relevance check. Everything that you're doing, ask yourself whether it is relevant or not. Whether you are in the PMP profession, whatever profession you are, just ask that question. Because we get outdated pretty fast these days. And if you think what you're doing, you will go on for the next 2 generations with that, forget it. It's never going to happen. These companies have all survived. The name has survived, but the business has not. They've transformed as and when the business has changed. That's a change. Look at these guys. I'm sure you guys know the second guy, Satya Nadella. He comes from your own city. But Deutsche Bank, a German company, a German bank, there was a guy from Jaipur who became the CEO of that company. A guy who is a North Indian guy, Hindi-speaking guy, became the CEO of a German company. And just for information, Germans are very strong at their language. They don't let any other language come. This guy learned German language. That guy became the CEO of a German bank. And Deutsche Bank is a big bank, not a small bank as such. Microsoft, Satya Nadella, he's the head. In fact, you go to the US, all companies, technology companies headed are somebody from India only. And half of them are from our side of the world. Hyderabad, Chennai, and whether they are from here or not, we claim they are here. But that's a different. Look at the third guy. I'm sure you guys know him. It's a household name nowadays. The 2 sons, what they're doing, God knows. One is Jio, the other one is Maro. Because the other one is literally Maro. He's in a situation like that. But the original guy who conceived this company was from where? From a small town. Probably not even educated. Talent comes not from degrees. Gone are the days when talent used to come from degrees. It's no more relevant actually. There was a time when your degree mattered when you were evaluated in an interview. That day is gone. Talent comes from somewhere else. It comes from betting on people. It comes from betting on people because people nowadays know a lot more than you and I can think. When I do training programs and if I see Generation X are people like me, born before 1984. And I'm assuming most of you are like me, at least the front benchers. Generation X guys still want a notepad and a pen to write down notes. Generation Y takes photographs. That does not even write. And they take photographs, and if I say that I did not write it, they show it to me that you wrote it. So there's an evidence that they have. They are a very different thing. Bet on people. Is the next generation smarter or not? Yes or no? By definition, there are a lot of next generation guys who are saying, yeah, we are. But they are smart. Unleash talent in them. Get them on board. See what happens with them. Thinking that your degrees will give you talent, forget it. In fact, degrees will be irrelevant 10 years from now. Just wait for that to happen. Because the number of MBAs now we have, the number of engineers that everybody is an engineer and MBA. मतलब you ask, Baba, क्या degree MBA? किधर से क्या पता नहीं? But that's literally what they are. That's the world that we're living in. Who is the Prime Minister of India right now? What degree does he have? There's a court case on that also, by the way. But Chai Wala went to all the way there. And IIT guy is doing what? You know the IIT guy, right? I'm not referencing him, but you know. And he's doing what? Just think, if talent was the proof, the IIT guy should have been there, and the Chai Wala should have been somewhere else. But the Chai Wala is somewhere else, and this guy is somewhere else. Just think. And that's true everywhere in the world. It's not your origin. It's not your degree. It's not where you come from. There was a time when in India, based on the surname you used to identify what work you do. I hope you guys know this. The surname used to tell what you are. Are you a Banya? Are you a Khati? Are you what? Surname, who cares these days? In fact, we don't even use that. It's a different world. Look at this. talent globalization. It's a simple word. I use that example of my daughter here. Talent is not coming from big cities now. It's coming from where? Somebody yesterday sent me a news article saying that the first Indian athlete to win the gold medal is from somewhere in Assam or somewhere. The chartered account, the CA topper is an auto rickshaw driver's daughter. You think talent comes from Delhi and Mumbai, SRCC and Xavier School? Forget it. It comes from God knows where. Because technology gives access to everybody for talent. Is that true or not? Earlier, we used to be in a big city, we had access to these schools and colleges. Now you don't need any of that. Everything is in a hand. You get it. You go to Coursera. You have all the courses that you need. Press a button, read it. You don't even need to go anywhere. And there are now world where people are talking about studying from home. Not even doing what is called as home graduation. And apparently it is going to get legalized as well. Think about it. Change or out. This is important. Look at these companies. I don't know if anybody here has heard of a company called Nortel Networks. It was once upon a time a company which was that IP telephone. They went bankrupt. Hindustan Motors, I'm sure you guys know them. Ambassador car, who most of the people could not drive it because you have to go to gym first to drive it. Because Ambassador car was not a normal admi ka kaam. It had to be having a muscle man to drive it as such. And there were only 2 cars, by the way. In those days, if you went to the parking lot, you will see an Ambassador or a Fiat. Yes or true? Today you go to the parking lot, every other car is different. You will not find 2 models of the car standing next to each other. Very rare, except if you go to a taxi parking lot. You will see a Desire there. But Hindustan Motors was a company to reckon with. Look at the third name, and I'm sure you guys can relate to them. Nokia. What were they into? Mobile phones. And they were a brand of choice. If you had a Nokia phone in your pocket in those days, you used to show it off. How many of you had a Nokia E52 model? That QWERTY keyboard phone, metallic body. You had that model? And if you had that model, it was 16,000 rupees 10 years ago. And if you had that model, you will show off to people कि मेरे पास Nokia है. Now if anybody has a Nokia, he hides it. Is that true or not? Because the other guy will ask you, Baba, 10 साल से बदला नहीं क्या है? And by the way, you can't even buy Nokia anymore because the company itself does not exist. Now they've restarted recently with some of their models. It had a market share of 70%. 70. It had a factory in Chennai. They closed down the factory, the name is gone. You think your old laurels are going to give you revenues for future? Ask these companies. The takeaway from this is allow changes and failures. I know you guys are from the PMP profession. I'm not a PMP certified guy, but I'm a chartered accountant, which almost is like this only. Because they tell you that no risk at all in life. And if you do everything, it has to be a calculated risk. If it's a risk, you cannot calculate. Well, how do you calculate a risk, Baba? If you can calculate, it's not a risk anymore. Because you can calculate. Marriage is risk or not? It's risk. You can't calculate. You don't know what's going to happen. And it's the biggest risk everybody takes. And who knows what's going to happen? But if you think about it, make failures accepted. Try things. A lot of us are used to not trying things out. We are good at what is called as comfort zone. I'm sure you guys have heard this word comfort zone a lot. We love comfort zone. Hindustan Motors loved it. Nobody knows them. Nokia loved it. Nobody knows them. Kodak and Konica. I'm sure you guys have heard those companies. They were known for what is called as, and they're gone, dusted out. They're not there anymore. Challenge the status quo right now and ask this question again. Look at this one. How many of you remember that to get a landline phone in our homes in 1980s, it used to take 3 years? You guys remember that or not? Your parents definitely know this. It used to, my dad ordered for a landline phone in 1986. We got it in 1989. And when we got it, we have to give the number to the entire community. And if the call comes, you have to go and call them. Baba, your call has come. I hope you guys remember those days, especially the trunk calls, lightning calls, and all that stuff. Then came mobile. And then came smartphones. The number of smartphones that we have in this country are probably going to be more than the population of this country very soon. Is that true or not? Because people now have two, not one. It's a thing that you have to ask again. All of these guys did something different. They did not do everything by themselves. They did what is called as ecosystem and speed. You know, is there a geo store that you have seen anywhere? Have you seen a dedicated geo store anywhere? You have never seen it because they don't have it. How will you see it? They have not gone into that old model of setting up a shop and hiring a guy and putting a nameplate, getting a registration, getting a labor certificate and all that. None of that crap. They did business slightly differently. They did not do all by themselves. They gave it to somebody else, created the system of ecosystem of vendors and got it done. Speed is what matters today. And in fact, the next slide will talk about this. There was a time when we in the school and college, we were told slow and steady wins the race. My daughter still learns that. And when she comes back and says, Dad, this is what I learned in the school today, I said, forget it. Just ignore, write it in the exam if you want to pass. But otherwise, just ignore it. Because slow and steady wins the race is a game that nobody accepts now. I don't know if you guys know this. In the olden days, we had a concept called Golden Jubilee and Silver Jubilee for movies. The people with white hairs or no hairs will know this. Golden Jubilee was a concept if a movie runs for 50 weeks or something like that, 25 weeks or something like that. Today, you don't expect a movie to run 25 weeks. You want it to run for 7 days. But you want it to make 300 crores in that. And every movie is like that. When was the last time you saw a movie running in a same theater for 25 weeks? It is not even a concept. There was a movie called Sholay. It ran in the same theater for more than 20 years. Imagine, dedicated theater for Sholay. तो सिर्फ शोले चला और कुछ मत चला. And then came a movie called Dhoom 3. I don't know if you guys have seen that movie. How many of you have seen Dhoom 3? How did you like it? It was a pathetic movie. In fact, you did not even know when the bank got robbed. I and my wife were watching it and my wife said, bank ka chori ho gaya. Mola, hua kaise? Kab? Kahan? And that movie made 250 crores in 1 week. Matter is over. And it's okay. What's the big deal about it? That's the way the world is. It's about speed. It's about success is quick. There was a time when we used to have a brand and we will remember about that brand for lifelong. Bata. I hope you guys remember Bata. Duckback. You guys remember Duckback? Those brands don't even exist, boss. They're not even in the planet anymore. Fast and consistent, it was wins the race. Look at the next one. And this is interesting, and then I'll get to the last one. But attention span is getting extremely low. Is that true or not? How many of you have actually gone to watch a test match? Like test match? Well, 5 days? 5 days? You had nothing else to do in life or what? 5 days for test match. And by the way, after the 5th day, you will not have the result. It will be draw. And you're like, boss, 5 दिन के बाद result भी नहीं आता, ऐसा कैसा match है ये? And then came 2020. And 2020 is what? Fast and furious. 2-3 hours play. And in 2-3 hours, you make more money than you make in the entire year. In IPL, the cricketers who go in IPL, I'm sure you guys know IPL, this time Sunrisers Hyderabad also is doing well. But in IPL, the guys who go in IPL make money in 2 months of play, enough for their entire lifetime. That's the world. Brand life and brand memory is gone. What's in sight is what's in mind. Even Apple has to do advertisement. Because if you think it's a great brand, they should not do ads. But even they have to do ads. And by the way, their ads are not the phone ad. Their ads are camera ads. Because iPhone does not sell as a phone. It sells as what? Shot on iPhone. Nobody says talk on iPhone. The ad says shot on iPhone. They are not selling a phone. They are selling a camera. They are very different. Attention span is lower. Understand. And this is a global phenomenon. And the last one, and I'll stop with this. The time is out and you guys can ask questions after this. But the world is actually flattening out. People are looking at countries like India, in India, not the big cities, but the other cities, and asking where growth is coming from. couple of days back, I saw a news article which said that the best place to do business in India is no more Gujarat. It's Andhra Pradesh and Telangana. The best place to do business. In the ease of doing business index, Andhra Pradesh and Telangana now come top. Gujarat is gone. Now, not because of Modi ji, but because of some other reasons. Growth is coming everywhere. Don't look at the same places where everybody else is looking. Don't look at the same places where everybody else is fighting for. Look at some other places. It's there everywhere now. Smaller towns, smaller villages, they have enough money for themselves. But we have never given them access to these products that you guys are working on. We think conventional markets are markets, but that's not true anymore. But that's just, I wanted to talk about this. This is the world that we're living in. The whole mindset that we had, the paradigm that we had, that the world is like this is no more true. The world is something else. And this is not a granular shift. This is a fundamental shift. And it's not going to change anywhere. It is the fundamental shift. This is the way the world is going to be. You have to prepare yourself to be in this world. I'll ask you the last question here, and then I'll take questions from you guys. In our olden days, we used to have one job, and we used to stay in that one job forever. Is that true or not? All the new guys there at the back, the youngsters, how many of you plan to stay in the same company for too long? I'm just asking. There's no way. In fact, you were already chained 2-3, so why are you asking that question at all? It's not true anymore. The world is different. Somebody was talking today morning about the fact that you will not get paid by the month, you will get paid by the hours. It is going to happen. And this is a new mindset. It requires a different perspective to operate out of this. And hopefully that's something that you guys have understood here. Change the way you operate. The speed of change is going to be fast. You guys need to catch up with that speed of change. Gone are the conventional businesses, conventional lines of money and all that. It will give you some stream of income, but you will keep fighting the losing battle. Change your mindset and see what happens. And that's the world that we're living in as such. All right, I'm going to take a pause here. I'll take questions from you guys if you have any.
Thank you, Kamlesh.
Yeah.
Due to time constraint, we'll have to
Perfect.
take questions on the networking break.
Perfect, done.
May I invite onto stage Mr. Sriram, President, PMI Pearl City Chapter, to give away the memento and grocery certificate. Thank you so much for an interesting session of different way of thinking in life. We will now take a quick break for tea.